Episode 408 of Bucco Banter. The Pirates take a series from the Boston Red Sox. We'll break down everything that happened this weekend and then preview the upcoming series versus the Detroit Tigers. You're listening to the Bucco Banter podcast, brought to you by the Just Baseball Media Network. Cue the music.
Rockin' 101, she compliment my taste. Whiskey in my lemonade, cause I like the way it tastes. Best seats at the Pirates game, they let me run the base. Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates. Or the steak by the plates, and in case after case, run my race at my pace, clear the grass of the snakes.
Welcome back to another episode of Bucco Banter. As you can see to my left, Adam Shore, my lovely co-host, is hoisting a cone. He's coning it up right now. The boys finally won a series after almost a month of not winning one. We beat the Boston Red Sox at home, a good series win, and it always comes on a getaway lineup that we're all complaining about. Those are always the games that we win.
I can hear the screams, the hungry screams of the children of Boston.
Oh, my Lord.
From Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. God, they're starving.
Starving, dude.
Kids
I hope
don't
you're
eat
hungry
this weekend in Boston.
for nothing, says Lake Balker.
Just an absolute fantastic series from the boys. We'll talk about the egg that was dropped in the Sonny Gray game. That was kind of predictable, right? Sonny Gray has been electric this year. But to go into Miami, put up, 13 runs, come back the very next day and pretty much do the same thing, have an off day where you don't do anything offensively. And then, like always, a tale as old as time, the Sunday lineup where you get Billy Cook, you get Jared Triolo leading off. Nick York is in Pittsburgh, and people say, oh, this team doesn't care. They've given up. Must-win game. How are you trotting this out here? Bullpen game. Skenes is missing a start. And they just absolutely go out there and let it all on the table. Beautiful stuff.
Beautiful stuff. It was also great to see some new faces back at the ballpark. Nick York, who started off pretty hot this year as a guy that we were going to use as a super utility player, right? Was injured and spent some time in AAA and came back hot to AAA. And this week, I think he had 3 home runs in Indianapolis. Well, today he contributed big time. Man, he definitely did, and he's just such a good personality in the clubhouse, so it's really good to have him back.
You can see the adjustments. Jay brings up that he widened his stance again, so constantly making a little bit of tweaks. And then Billy Cook, we mentioned him being in the lineup today, coming back from AAA, drew his first ever career walk. And I was sitting next to Colin Beasley in the press box, and he goes, taps me on the shoulder, he goes, oh my God, it might happen. And it's a 3-2 count. He fouls off about 3 pitches. And then he draws the walk. And I'll tell you what, you're not supposed to cheer in the press box, but I turn to my left and I think every single Pirates reporter silently is just going hands in the air. It was
ridiculous.
Awesome.
If you get a chance.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, go, our Aaron James Such wrote a very good article titled Let Him Cook about this historic moment. So go check that out when you get a chance.
I haven't even seen that yet.
It's great.
I haven't even seen that. I'm sure it's electric. But the point being, this clubhouse was sick and tired of losing, right? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That was a really bad stretch. And I'm not saying they're out of the mud. They clearly have dug themselves a hole that is very tough to get out of. But there's still a lot of baseball games left to play. And this is a good example of how a season can turn around, how the bats can turn around, how a guy like Esmeralda Valdez, who went through a really, really bad stretch after tearing it up, is starting to get his feet underneath him again, starting to have those at-bats that were like, wow, this is really good professional at-bats. It looks like the team is starting to like playing baseball again. After everything that they've been through, they got together and they said, hey, this is not enough. And you take 2 of 3 from the Red Sox. And before you say whatever you're going to say next, Scott, me and you looked at each other multiple times this weekend after looking up at the scoreboard at that Red Sox lineup and just going, how the hell did this team win 15, 20 games in a row? You look at 1 through 9, it's not that good of a team.
No, They have a lot of guys injured. I will never understand it, but hey, kudos to them for rallying and putting it all together for a stretch. I mean, that's admirable, right? I mean, they've got themselves in playoff contention, obviously. But yeah, I want to give my flowers to Rafa Flores real quick, man, because I think this is a guy that's really stepped up. And we've seen it time and time again. He's struggled with some guys behind the plate defensively, maybe catching like a Gregory Soto, some of these high velo guys that are kind of all over the place. He's made some adjustments, catching on his right leg now, the right leg out, right at him. And the bat plays. The bat, that will never be a question with Flores. The bat will play, whether that's behind the plate, whether that's at first base, whether that's at DH. He's a bigger catcher. But he had a tremendous week, and it was really cool to see a guy like that who's got a lot on his shoulders being acquired for David Bednar. He was the headline piece last year when we traded our closer away. He's got a lot on his shoulders to produce, and boy, did he this week. I think he's been one of the more impressive stories over the past 10 days of Pirates baseball.
I'm not ready to give up on him defensively. One, because you see the adjustments. We posted the video from Pirates Fest about him telling us how he's working from the left knee because he's a bigger guy and he's trying to be able to make himself a bit smaller, but going down on that left knee wasn't allowing him to create space. Michael McHenry talked about it beautifully on the Sportsnet postgame show. And then we talked to Comadina, the catching coach, today about the transition to the right knee. And he had so many good things to say about Flo. One, the guy just is an absolute grinder, man. He's out there every single day making throws to second base, working on his craft. But getting down on that right knee allows him to make himself a little bit smaller, first of all. He's what, 6'3", 230? Yeah. He's a big dude, right? And it's not easy for a dude like that to command the zone, to frame pitches, steal strikes. So that's one thing that he's working on, and he's been getting a lot better with his receiving. And then getting down on that right knee is allowing him to be a little bit quicker with the glove, with that big frame, and get the ball out of his glove as fast as possible, make a strong, accurate throw where he's not sailing the ball to the right or the left. And I'm all for it. You see the development of Henry behind the plate and how his career started and where he's at. So to say like, hey, this guy's terrible defensively or that he's not playable back there, I think there's a lot more that goes into it with the pitching staff, with the development, getting major league time, where we need to let it cook for a little bit. But him being able to hit lefties, him being able to step in, provide a little bit of slug, put the ball in play, how much more can you ask for?
Yeah, really? He had a hit right after the 2.5 hour delay, or it was even more than that, I think. But he's definitely been an asset at the plate, and someone that's so young in his career that's been injured this much. You got to think that moving off of being a catcher is definitely in the cards at this point. But with that being said, that's even more important for Rafa Flores to develop and other catchers that we have in this system. And we've talked about it time and time again. We've got more and more at every level. So that's definitely a position of depth in this system. But Adam, I want to focus on the series as a whole. This Red Sox rotation coming in has 4 left-handed pitchers. 4. That's rare, right? It's common to see a 5-man right-handed rotation, but not 4 lefties. The 2 games we won in this series were against left-handed starters. So do we want to take that as a positive? Is that going forward?
Of course, I'll celebrate that.
Let's go.
We have to. This team has been self-admittedly horrendous against left-handed pitching all season long, man. It's been the big bugaboo. They just can't get it done against soft-tossing lefties. And you looked at this going into the weekend, and it was a bit concerning. Plus Sonny Gray. It didn't look like a recipe for success. And again, I think this team was sick of hearing that they can't hit lefties. And I think Donnie speaking up a little bit in Miami after some rough games really got to the guys. Some of that veteran presence is really coming through now, but this offense is too good to go on a skid for that long. So they were bound to break out, and you saw signs of it with Valdez having some really, really good at-bats in Miami, and it just not really working out for him, not getting the results. I'd want to see what his expected batting average was in Miami because he was really, really barreling up some baseballs really well. And then you come back home and he's just doing the same thing. I loved him in that number 2 spot today as well. Just having really good ABs, driving the ball, hitting the ball hard, having those at bats where we were questioning whether or not this guy's a rookie for how disciplined he was at the plate. This looked like an all-around better baseball team today. Defensively, they have looked a lot better. You did lose Gonzo at the beginning of this series, getting hit in the head. They're calling it a facial contusion. No word really on that yet, I believe. But they've been able to step up a little bit and make it work. And taking 2 of 3 from the Red Sox is a really, really good series when this Red Sox team was 5 for the last 10. And you're going to have a Detroit team coming in that's 5 of the last 10 as well. So time to hit the ground running, Scott. Time is now.
It absolutely is. And I want to talk about the bullpen before we move on real quick, because I think the bullpen is definitely an area that has improved. It was obviously the biggest weak point heading into the mid-season here and into the trade deadline. But you look at this bullpen now, I'm looking at it at Roster Resource right now. You feel a lot more comfortable with most of these guys coming into the game. Yohan Ramirez is on paternity list, so you cycle out Hunter Barco or Isaac Mattson when he returns. I mean, is Mason Montgomery the most relied upon high leverage guy at this point? Because he's cooking. I know you brought in Luke Weaver at the trade deadline, and you got him for another year, and this is a guy that's been a closer. But right now, it looks like Mason Montgomery is the go-to guy at the end of the game.
Pirates bullpen since August 1st, 3.11 ERA, 5th in MLB, 67K, 2nd in MLB.
Yep, there you go.
Mason Montgomery has been nails.
That trade is just, it's working out every day more and more. Like it's probably one of the, if not the best trade of the Cherington era.
What I loved most about this weekend was the Friday game. Kirby Yates struggles to get out of the 9th inning. Got dinked and dunked a little bit. I didn't think he looked terrible. Just didn't go his way. You bring in Mason for 1 out, and he works a 3-2 count. Adley's having a good at-bat. And you just give him an FU in the dirt curveball because you know he has to be loaded up for 101.
Yep. And
he just swings right through it. And the confidence that he had throwing it, the conviction that he has throwing that pitch right now, it's unhittable.
Yeah.
A guy like that with that type of stuff, we talked at the beginning of the year about how he could be somebody that the Pirates value even more in the future, right? In a deeper role. And I think he's really stepped up in high leverage situations, like you've said. And I think the numbers speak for themselves. Jay wants to talk a little bit about it right here. What do you have for us on Mason Montgomery?
Since the All-Star break, he has been nails. 10.1 innings pitched. He's only given up 2 earned runs, which were both in the same game, by the way. 21 strikeouts in this period for Mason Montgomery. Like you mentioned, I'm just throwing some FU fastballs. Average exit velocity during this period is 86.6 miles an hour as well. I feel like earlier this year we saw Mason get hit a little bit harder in some of these spots where he struggled too. So even whenever he's getting hit around a little bit, it's all soft contact. Like I said, the majority of this damage is done between one outing. Really, it was the outing on 7/26. He gave up 2 hits, 2 earned. Outside of that, it's only been 1 hit and no earned since the All-Star break. He has been nails.
Yeah, he's been huge, and you just look dominant. Like this looked like a true closer. The closest thing to a closer we've had all season, to be honest with you. Coming into today's game, I'm watching that last inning, and I mean, he's just pumping down the plate, daring guys to hit it. And even Greg Brown was like, "Wow, this guy is just dominant right now. He's unhittable at this point." And I think that's the hope here, right? I know there's inconsistency with him and his career so far with command and then being vulnerable when he's leaving pitches over the plate. But you're pumping 101 from the left side. That's serious stuff, and it's like Chapman level stuff, to be honest with you.
Some other guys we need to give flowers to for this series. I'll start with Jared Jones. He gave up the solo shot, but 17 whiffs on the day, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. And then Bubba Chandler has been so good since the All-Star break. So good. 2.33 ERA coming out of the break. Opponent batting average of 206 and slugging 333. He went 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned, 2 walks, 5 Ks in the 8-4 win Friday night. Jay's notes here. Something else I want to talk about. Jared Triolo in the month of August. You ready, Scott, for this? Get your hands moving here. We're talking about Big Tree. In the month of August, Triolo's hitting 250, 379, 375 with 1 home run and 116 WRC plus. Now, I know those numbers don't jump off the page and you're like, holy moly, this guy's an all-star. But what more can you ask for in a guy like Jared Triolo?
Super utility guy, like 116 WRC plus, like, hell, sign me up. I've been saying it time and time again. I know he gets a lot of flack online, but this is far from the weakest link on the roster. I think he's had, with all things considered, a really good season.
Defensively, he's the man for a team that really has struggled to record some easy outs. He's the most reliable guy.
That too, Adam. Let's talk about that, because now with Nicky G kind of sidelined, I don't know what that's going to look like and what if he's going to be out for a period of time and with the head injury. But Jared Triolo, we mentioned it before, him at third base is the preferable option, right? So you're already like, increasing your defense on the left side there. You're improving it, shall I say. Now the question is, who do you put at shortstop? Is that going to be Jacob Gonzalez? Now, when there's a left-handed pitcher throwing, you're going to have to move Tree there. But again, that is all things considered with Nick Gonzalez potentially being out for a little bit.
Before August, Triolo had a 76 WRC plus. So he went from 76 to 116. You do the math, that's an 800-point increase. Simple math, guys. 800, 900, 1,000 points.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Makes sense. I'm excited. I still understand where this team is at right now. I get it. But there's still a lot of baseball left to play. August is by far the toughest month of any baseball season because of how deep you're into it, the situations that you're put in. Everybody that is trying to compete is going all out right now. All you can ask is for this team to play some meaningful baseball and not have that type of stretch that they just went through. I don't care what type of fan you are. If you're the most pessimistic fan in the entire world, if you're a super apologist for everything, you're right in the middle and you just like baseball, it's nice to watch a series like this. You can't sit here and tell me like you're still down in the dumps and you're not ready for this Detroit series. If you're not ready, if you can't get up for this Detroit series and think this isn't a meaningful series and everything is still over, then just stop watching altogether, right? Like don't even bother, because this is going to be fun. And if they go in the opposite direction, we'll talk about that. But you take 2 of 3 from the Red Sox. Let's go. You got Detroit, and then you got a very important road trip out west with the Padres, the Dodgers, and the Angels. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough.
Last I checked, Monroeville was east, but it's road trip nonetheless.
Monroeville West, buddy.
Okay.
It's all the same. It's all the same. They gerrymandered it. It's a crazy line, but it's all Monroeville, okay? I'm excited. We'll be out at the Detroit series. Before we talk about Detroit, there could be opportunities for people to commit crimes. I'm not saying you should do it, but life is life, and you might find yourself in a bind, and you're like, man, how do I get out of this bind that I'm in right now? You commit a crime. I'm not telling you to do it. You shouldn't commit crimes. This is a crime-free podcast, minus all the stuff Scott does.
Anti-crime. We're so anti-crime. The most anti-crime podcast out there.
Well, I'll tell you what. Perfect example of a crime where the folks over at Farrell, Weaver, and Oaken can help you out. Scott showed me a video the other day of some people walking up and down the street trying to rob some cars. What's that all about?
On my Ring camera. Get one.
You can't do that. Protect yourself. And if the Ring camera doesn't protect you because you're the criminal in this situation and you're a bad guy or you made a poor life decision, I think the folks over at Farrell, Weaver, and Oaken can help you out. Because whether you're a bad guy or not, Farrell, Weaver, and Oaken will take your case seriously. They will break it down for you, and they will let you know if they can help you out and get you the best deal possible, because experience matters when it counts most. Call Farrell, Weaver, and Oaken today for a free consultation. I tell you what, Scott, those people that were scouring your street looking to steal the meatballs out of your vehicle,
yeah, there's a
they're
lot
going
of
to need a good lawyer.
Yep.
They're going to need a good lawyer. That many meatballs gets you like 25 to life.
Yeah. And they're not plastic meatballs, they're real meatballs.
Real. They look real.
Yeah. Exactly.
Real quality. It's got to be quality on my end or no deal. Why don't we talk about the Detroit series here, Scott?
Let's talk about the Detroit Tigers. They're entering this series 60-64, tied for third in the AL Central. This is a division that we've had run-ins with already. We went to Cleveland and we're like, wow, this team is first in the AL Central. This division must be bad. Well, the Tigers are coming to town. We got Carmen Mlodzinski taking the bump on Monday versus Framber Valdez. You probably known that name from the Houston Astros. 7-8 this year with a 4.26 ERA, 24 games started and 133 innings pitched, 106 Ks and a 1.39 WHIP. Sinker, curve, change, slider, four-seam make up the arsenal. Mostly sinker and curve. The sinker has always been his bread and butter. Uses it to generate ground balls. He's a ground ball artist. But this season, as you can see, his numbers aren't usual Framber numbers. He's been elevating it more, leading to hard contact. So if he's not bearing that sinker at the bottom of the zone, that impacts the production of Framber Valdez. The curve is a big slow breaker with significant depth. It's his put away pitch. Can we get a third straight win against a lefty? Because that would be awesome, boys.
Going to be a tough one. It's going to be a really tough one. But Tuesday, you're going to get Braxton Ashcraft on the mound versus right-handed pitcher Kaiser Montero. This year, Montero is 9-7 with a 3.22 ERA in 26 games, 128 and 2/3 innings pitched, 86 Ks with a .99 WHIP. The arsenal is a four-seam sinker, slider, chain, and curveball. Slider is a primary swing and miss weapon. Uses it against both righties and lefties. If hitters expand the zone, he can get soft contact and quick outs. Got to work the counts here, guys. And then uses the fastball to establish the strike zone and set up his secondary stuff. Imagine Scott going through this with also Tarek Skubal.
I know that would have been tough. There's no way he's 145 pounds, right, guys? Like that.
Kaiser Montero.
Yeah, there's no way. 6'1", 145.
That has to be an error.
That has to be an error. There's no. I'm looking at pictures of him. I mean, it doesn't look like a stick, but 145. I'm like kind of concerned about the guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, enough on Kaiser Montero's weight. We're not going to fat shame or skinny shame here on Bucco Banter. Wednesday, is that going to be a fun one? Paul Skenes versus Jackson Jobe. Jackson Jobe recently returned from TJ. Only 2 starts, 1-1 with a 6.23 ERA in 2 games started, 8 2/3 innings pitched, 8 Ks and a 1.38 WHIP. Will come at you with a four-seam, slider, change, curve, and sinker. But still very much in the process of rebuilding himself, obviously, after the TJ. Four-seam is his headline pitch. Enough velo to challenge hitters, but its effectiveness is enhanced by the rest of his arsenal. The slider is his best secondary weapon. It's nasty with significant horizontal movement and enough velo to make it difficult to identify out of the hand. I think the big thing with him is going to be tunneling, right? The fastball and slider look the same out of the hand. Is the pitch going to be a flat fastball, or is it going to be a pitch that tumbles away from you if you're a left-handed or a right-handed bat? This tunneling allows him to rack up Ks and gives him that front of the rotation potential that he has, had since he was a number 3 overall pick for the Tigers a few years ago out of Oklahoma prep scene.
If you guys want all of these and more, you can go to buccobantr.com, by the way, because if you don't like listening to Scott and I talk about these breakdowns, we'll just send you everything that we said and more to your inbox. All you have to do is go to buccobantr.com. Our faces will show up, or you hit join the community. You put in your email, you hit send. This is the most important part. Listen up. Go to your email, Gmail, AOL, wherever you get your electronic mail. Go to what we sent you and then click opt in. And then you'll get all this and more for everything happening in the Bucco Banter universe. We'll be there this week. Very important series before a long road trip, because you got the 3 West Coast teams, and then I think St. Louis as well mixed in there somewhere. So it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough, but I like the fight. I like to see the fight right now. It's good to have some winning baseball to talk about. Scott, before we get out of here, we have the hitter and pitcher of the week brought to you by Smashed Waffles in Oakland. You can mention the Bucco Banter home run of the week. You get 20% off your entire order. How crazy is that? Those waffles are good. They should not be discounting those waffles.
Yeah.
But with the Bucco Banter home run of the week, you will be able to get some delicious smashed waffles in Oakland. Scott, our hitter of the week is Rafael Flores Jr. Flo went 7 for 15 this week, Scott. 7 for 15.
It's our boy.
467 average, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. Wow. Talk about needing a guy to step up.
Yeah. Shout out Flo, man. What a week for him. I'm happy for him. Love that.
Oh, by the way, honorable mention was Esmeralda Valdez. 9 for 22, 409, 3 doubles, 3 RBIs. Not bad either.
Everyone was worried about Valdez after the All-Star break. Is he falling off? Well, no, he's, it's a long season, right? He's a rookie, but he's still here and he's still producing. And you got to have that bat in the lineup. Let's go to the pitcher of the week. Braxton Ashcraft. I think this was an obvious one with his stellar outing down in Miami to avoid a sweep against the Marlins on the road. 9 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 10 Ks. 3.88 ERA on the season, boys. 10 whiffs on 85 pitches. 85 pitch complete game. He Greg Maddoxed the Sunday game the series ending game in Miami. Was awesome to see. Was much needed for this team to have an outing like this from your starting rotation. I know he's thrown the most innings he's ever thrown in his life, and we expected some fatigue here in the second half, but it's nice to see a bounce back from Braxton Ashcraft.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Scott, we had the Renegade this past weekend. Appreciate everybody for coming out. Renegades of the Rotunda. Bucco Bantr through one of the best tailgates of all year. Shout out Icy Light. Shout out Caliente Pizza and everybody else who brought snacks by. Shout out Joe Klimchek for stopping by, announcing the 50-50, and then just dipping like an absolute boss. He's like, I know what I'm here for.
Insane.
I tell you what, he announced those numbers so professionally.
He's got a great voice, Joe. He really does.
Great voice. The parrot showed up on his scooter. Incredible time. Couldn't ask for a better time. Shout out everybody that supports us. And
shout out Caliente. Shout out Icy Light. Shout out everyone that has followed. I know I said this on the live. Shout out everyone that has followed us along our journey so far. Less than 3 years. We hit 10K on Instagram this weekend. And I'll tell you what, I can't be more grateful for the people that tune in and listen and, join the conversation as we banter about these Buccos. No pun intended. But it's been a fun ride, and I'm excited for the next 10K, boys.
Here's to the next 10K, and here's to the next W against the Detroit Tigers. Till next time, hoist it.
Hoist it.
Best seats at the Pirates game, they let me run the base. Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates, or the steak by the plates.